Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we're going to be starting to lay the foundation for cutting together about a 30 to 40 second gameplay trailer for Dracs After Dusk. In last week's video, I sat down with my older brother and Olive Hill Studios' lead game dev, Andy Haugen, who shared some really valuable insights into what we've learned thus far from our initial playtesting phase, how we're incorporating that feedback moving forward, and then what's next in terms of preparation for launching our demo on Steam Next Fest. So for any game devs who are trying to wrap their heads around how to roll out a playtest, I highly recommend checking out our previous video because Andy dropped some absolute gems in that one. One of the last things we mentioned in our video was outlining what are the next big ticket items as part of the Steam rollout. And one of those key items is to put together a small trailer showcasing our gameplay that'll live on our Steam page. It really is one of the first soft pitches of your product as people are browsing the Steam marketplace and trying to decide if I should try out this demo or spend dollars towards your game. And so right now we're in the initial mock-up design phase. And so step one of that is figuring out, okay, what are the highly prioritized shots and footage of the game that we want within our gameplay trailer. And fortunately, we had one of our really good friends do a 45-minute stream of one of his runs on Dracs After Dusk. So we have plenty of footage to choose from. I think one key distinction to make with this particular trailer is to give a very quick, accessible snapshot of what is your gameplay. So it's not going to have, an epic introduction with this storyline and this kind of cinematic atmosphere towards it. That's a project that we're going to tackle later on down the road. For this one, you want to be really mindful of your audience and the fact that we live in a time where attention span is very quick and in a matter of seconds. So you want to try and tailor your trailer towards that. And so our team went through that exercise of aligning on what are the different slices of footage that we want within our trailer. So I have all that. And since I'm going to be cutting together the track music to align with the different shots, they actually gave me the reins to cut it myself. So what we're going to do today is get an understanding of what is a reference track that we want to use, put together a trailer cut aligned to that, and then we'll do a part 2 video where we replace that reference track with my own. And fortunately, Andy gave me some really good direction on what specific reference track they want to use, and that is He's a Pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Drink up, me hearty yo-ho.
Which I think is an excellent choice because it's a very fast-paced track. It cuts right to the action. It has a strong sense of thrill and adventure. It really does drive forward with this relentless energy to it. And it just feels like it's always accelerating even when maybe harmonically it's staying pretty grounded, given how memorable that theme is. I'm willing to bet we're all familiar with this track. So big shoes to fill to try and figure out how I can put my own spin on that, but definitely a fun challenge ahead of me. So let's get rolling on that reference track and starting to slice out the different scenes that we want to use here. So in FL Studio, the first thing I want to do is figure out the BPM or beats per minute of this track here. So this is just the wave file of He's a Pirate. You can right click and then detect tempo right here. So it looks like this has it coming in about 140.2. After running a few tests, I actually have it coming in at 140.7. So just right there. So now we can start to figure out what are the accented counts within the beats that we want to emphasize a cut to a new shot. Boom. So we want that right there. So what we can do is actually mark that up. That's scene 2. Boom, another one right here. So we'll mark that up as well. And we're going to go through this for 30 to 40 seconds of footage. We'll probably end up with about 13 to 14 scenes. Okay, so we just went through this exercise for about 40 seconds of footage. For the most part, it is 4/4 timing, but there are a couple sections where it actually dips outside of that. I think Hans Zimmer and Klaus, the composers who worked on this famous track, talked about the challenge of aligning the music to the picture. So they had to implement a couple interesting techniques to get the lining to add up perfectly. So now that we got all of our different scenes built out, this is where we can get pretty meticulous with the timing because we want each measure or accented beat to be aligned towards the timing of the footage. So from scene 1 to scene 2, it's 3.41 seconds. So scene 1 is going to be that exact timing. Same goes for scene 3, scene 4, scene 5, etc. And we're going to open up Canva. This is the video editing software that I use. And so the direction I got from our team is we definitely want to use all the different phases of the boss fight. And outside of that, use shots where the horde of vampires is incredibly overwhelming and also showcasing the different weapons that you have access to within the game. And then we can end the footage with our good cowboy friend getting completely overrun and unfortunately falling to his death. So we're going to drill into this footage and start to slice these different scenes up. So this first shot of the boss phase is going to be 3.4. Second phase 3.4, and then there's a couple shots towards the end here that are going to be a little shorter given the timing switches up within the track. So those are coming in about 1.7, and we have one coming in about 4.2. So now that we got our rough cut, we're going to take this video and import it into FL Studio within our video player and see how it's lining up with He's a Pirate. All right, for a first cut with the reference track, not half bad. Just to make my life easier, I'll probably use the same exact BPM for my own track so we don't have to redo all the time markers here. And there might be some things that we switch up, maybe some quicker shots, the ordering of the different scenes. I'll have to check with the guys on their thoughts on that, but I think this is a decent start. Stay tuned for a part 2 episode where once I have my track fully created and composed, we'll be using that for the official trailer. But for any indie game studios or sound people who are trying to figure out how to put together this type of trailer, I hope this was helpful, at least getting an understanding of how you can start with a reference track, identify what that is and the different scenes that we want to use, and then start to lay the foundation for how to showcase your best gameplay. If you haven't already, feel free to hit that like, subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the latest and greatest as we're starting to roll out this trailer and leading up to Steam Next Fest. Feel free to let me know in the comments what's the best gameplay trailer or movie trailer that you've ever seen and why. All right, it is time to start working on my track, guys, so I will catch you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.
Drink up, me hearties, yo ho.